From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Joe St. George in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A massive restructuring of the VA is underway nationwide. Why are some VA hospitals set to close? What's the impact on veterans? We look at the debate next.
The struggle parents are facing again, talking to their children about school violence. I'm Bradley Blackburn with some advice on how to start the conversation and help kids feel safe.
Good morning, Southwest Montana, 6:30. Beautiful start to the day for what's going to be a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, unseasonably warm temperatures, the warmest temperatures we've seen in quite some time here in Southwest Montana.
I'll take it.
And then it's just setting us up for
There's a bud to the end
wet,
of that.
cooler weekend.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to go. So at least you get the one day out of it. As Ashley mentioned, not a bad day out there right now. Satellite and radar showing just a few clouds. Those clouds will increase as your day goes on, but so will the temperature. Right now we're hanging into the 40s for the most part, a little cooler in West Yellowstone. Butte at 35, Wisdom at 30, or Wise River, I should say, at 37 degrees. Not too bad out there. Still average, maybe a little above. We'll definitely get above average for today. Mid to upper 70s for the Bozeman area. Could top out in the 80s in some places as well with some afternoon clouds for Butte. Right in that mid 70 degree range for today. Mostly cloudy skies by your afternoon. And then change in store as we head into the Memorial Day weekend. I'll have details of that from the patio coming up in about 10 minutes.
We will see you in a bit. 6:32 now. Following the tragic shooting in Texas, schools were on high alert and extra cautious across the state yesterday. 3 Bozeman schools were in a shelter in place following police activity around the area on 7th and Hemlock. That affected the Whittier and Hawthorne elementary schools. Bozeman High School was placed in a soft lockdown out of an abundance of caution. Bozeman Superintendent Casey Bertram sent a letter to parents. That letter not only offered condolences to the Uvalde community, but also highlights safety at Bozeman schools. In the email, Bertram also spoke on how to talk with kids, saying, quote, "We prefer that parents and guardians of pre through K-5 students are the ones to share the news with their children as they see fit. Pre through K-5 classrooms will not be planning or facilitating conversations related to the tragedy. The tragedy may be acknowledged in classrooms if brought up by the students." MTN's Edgar Cedillo spoke with the social services director at Shodair Children's Hospital, and she shared some guidance for parents.
Sometimes I hear that we shouldn't talk to our kids about these things, right, and creating unnecessary anxiety, but our kids are already doing active shooter drills in school, right? The topic is already out there.
The Uvalde school shooting in Texas brings light to whether or not parents should be talking to their kids. Jenna Eisenhardt, a school-based and social services director at Shodair, says,
"It is helpful to have these conversations with kids, but how we do that and what we say kind of really depends on the age of the child and, some of their temperament and personality."
For parents who do decide to talk to their kids, Eisenhardt has suggestions.
I think what's really important is that the parent is calm and emotionally regulated during those conversations.
When it comes to having these conversations with younger kids, experts say to tread carefully.
The American Psychiatric Association recommends actually avoiding tragedy topics with kids under roughly the age of 8. Especially if those kids are not directly impacted. Pre-K and under age, if we do need to talk to them about it, it's in very simple, easy to understand words, like a sentence.
She says the best way to talk with the younger kids is to focus on the positives, like the heroes. And once you start getting to the older kids, her best piece of advice is to be prepared for questions.
They're going to ask a lot more questions, typically why questions. And so parents, before engaging in that conversation, should think about what exactly they want to answer, right? Because kids don't need to know all of the details.
She also says with parents with younger teenagers to be curious.
So a really good place to start is just asking if they've heard about what happened. And if they have heard about what happened, I think a really good place to start is just asking how they feel about it.
And for older teenagers, action may mean more than words.
Typically, our older teens are very social justice oriented and very invested in moving out into the world and how they're going to change the world. And things like this can feel very disempowering for older teens. One thing that's really helpful for older teens is to help empower them to figure out what they can do about it, right? What is in their circle of control.
She hopes that mental health topics become a forefront for families.
I would love for mental health to be more normalized to talk about at the dinner table. the feelings, and then what we do about it and coping skills.
Some very great advice. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more on ways to start the conversation about school shootings and to keep the lines of communication open.
It's a conversation parents wish they didn't have to have with their children, discussing deadly school shootings.
It's scary for them to know what to do and to be afraid.
Parents are often afraid to bring up these topics because they don't want to worry their kids. But psychologists say avoiding the conversation can make the situation even scarier for children.
We want kids to learn about big traumatic things from a trusted adult. If they learn about it from other kids, then they're going to hear potentially more sensational bits. They're not going to have accurate information.
Dr. Jamie Howard is a senior clinical psychologist with the Child Mind Institute. She says these conversations can start with children around school age.
An opener is, I'm feeling really sad about a news story that I saw, and I wonder if you've heard about it. You don't want to jump in with a lengthy, detailed explanation because it might be more than they need and more than they want.
Dr. Howard says parents can remind kids that statistically this violence is still very unlikely to happen at their school, and they can talk about what safety measures are in place.
They practice stay-put drills in their school where the doors are locked and they stay quiet. And I don't think my daughter even knew what they were for, so they weren't so scary to her. Now she has a better understanding that they're to help keep her safe.
Parents should also keep a close eye on changes to their child's emotions, behavior, appetite, or sleep, which can be signs a child is feeling anxious. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And experts say it's okay for parents to look sad or angry, but that they should be mindful that big emotions from a parent can also scare children. The National Association of School Psychologists has tips for parents and teachers for talking to children about violence. You can find that link on our website. Well, in other news, it was a big day for some students in Butte yesterday. People gathered for a ribbon cutting to officially open the newly renovated East Middle School.
East Middle School has always played a significant role in the lives of all Butte School District students. And now, thanks to a community-wide support, East is a newly renovated 21st learning facility.
Renovations include a new main gym, a new weight room, shared spaces, and new seating in the auditorium. Well, across the country, veterans are anxiously awaiting for the next moves by the VA as the department is undergoing a multi-year evaluation to determine where new facilities need to be built and old facilities need to close. Some communities may see their hospital shut down entirely. Our Joe St. George went to one of those communities to understand what's on the mind of veterans and the timeline for any final decision.
He was killed in '67.
As we approach Memorial Day, it's fitting to remember the lives lost.
There he is right there.
This is a Vietnam memorial wall, not in D.C., but in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It may be a replica, but it's just as powerful to see. Vietnam vet Patrick Frazier showing us his friend's name, who never made it back.
Stephen C. Himes right there.
Memorial Day weekend may be about remembering the fallen, but it's also an appropriate time to check in on our nation's veterans. And in doing so, you learn so much about what they went through.
I hauled ammunition and bodies.
Patrick isn't the only one here today.
I'm an Agent Orange recipient.
Bruce Lehman
I slept in a bunker every night.
and Eric Johnson are here too. But we didn't meet up to talk about war stories from the 1960s. We're chatting because their local VA hospital could soon close, and they aren't alone. The VA is beginning a massive restructuring effort impacting every corner of the country. In 2018, former President Donald Trump signed the VA Mission Act, which created the Asset and Infrastructure Review Commission. It's a mouthful, but it was tasked with reviewing current facilities to determine if closing some of them might be in the best interests of veterans. Almost 70% of the VA's healthcare facilities were built more than 50 years ago. This spring, their first report came out, recommending closing 17 facilities in 12 states, including sites in Virginia, Ohio, Michigan, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and California. This facility in Fort Wayne is on the list too. It's around 70 years old.
I've been treated very well there.
These men rely on it and are worried about what comes next.
There's too many vets within this circle that need this facility.
The VA is kind of like a safety valve for all of us veterans.
You have a VA appointment today, is that right? Or?
I do. I'm going for mental health.
We reached out to the VA to better understand the plan. They tell us all final decisions will be made by the President and Congress sometime next year, emphasizing that even if a facility closes, new outpatient services will be offered. For these veterans, that would be a must. They tell us travel is tough, but Patrick reminding me before I left of how much this issue matters.
You have some heart failure?
Congestive heart failure.
You have liver cancer?
Yes.
I'm praying for you, okay?
Oh, God bless you, brother.
In Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your service. I'm Joe St. George.